Nah, it's dumb. Honestly, it's like they're trying to make it seem like eating ultra-processed foods is punk rock now or something. Yeah, like it's somehow anti-establishment to eat industrialized food made by mega corporations. I don't get it. Anyway, pass me the Doritos, man. Thanks.
After reading the comments on my last video about how Time magazine not only put out an article titled, "Why Ultra-Processed Foods Might Not Be As Bad As You Think," but also changed the name of the article a few days later, I realized that there's more, much more that we need to talk about. Specifically, the timing of this article and the main problem with ultra-processed foods in general. The truth is that it's messed up that there is this push to politicize health decisions that us ordinary people make. Like now, if you decide to eat only meat, or if you decide to eat meat in general, that somehow makes you far right. Or, apparently, just working out means that you're probably less liberal than someone who doesn't. I don't know. I don't make the rules, but really, this Time article is making things worse by arguing that ultra-processed foods might actually be good for you. Here's why this new perspective of theirs is probably just serving to boil the political pot and further divide us. It's estimated that about 60% of the American diet is from processed foods of some sort, with chronic diseases like diabetes, fatty liver disease, high blood pressure, and others on the rise. One of the strongest examples of this is the drastic increase of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in children from the 1970s to today. Endocrinologist Robert Lustig suspects that one of the main drivers of this increase is overconsumption of sugars and carbohydrates in the American diet. Sugar and carbohydrates are two of the main components of ultra-processed foods. To stir the pot and add some political spice to the health debate, Time introduces a contrarian champion for ultra-processed foods, Jessica Wilson, a dietitian based in California. Wilson explains that she felt better after eating mostly processed foods for 1 month and how arguing for diets with less processed food is discriminating against people with lower incomes that don't have access to whole, natural foods. The thing I find funny about this is the article begins by talking about her love for Costco's pre-made pupusas, and then describes her mostly processed food diet as replacing eggs with soy chorizo, snacking on cashew milk yogurt, Costco pupusas and Trader Joe's ready-to-eat tamales for dinner, that kind of stuff. My question is, since when are Costco or Trader Joe's places where underprivileged or lower-income families shop? I don't know about you, but I know that I can't even afford a Costco membership or to shop at Trader Joe's. Let's be realistic. The diet that Wilson was eating doesn't reflect the diet of an average American. The processed foods she was eating are more premium or luxury items compared to what most people can afford. But it's more than just Wilson arguing about food deserts and food apartheid while eating foods that clearly reflect status. Like cashew milk yogurt? Are you kidding me? The attempt to politicize health is even more obvious in the timing of when this new article was released. Time previously published articles arguing that ultra-processed foods are associated with a higher risk of chronic diseases and cited studies to show this. These same studies were even mentioned at the end of this article that we're talking about now. It wasn't until Robert Kennedy Jr., someone who openly rails against ultra-processed food, endorsed Trump and introduced the slogan MAHA, or Make America Healthy Again, that Time changed their minds and decided that now, ultra-processed foods might not be as bad as we think. We live in a climate now where, oddly, if you believe that we should strive to be healthy, or if you want to help your own or your family members' chronic disease, or if you believe that everyone should have access to whole, nutrient-dense food, suddenly you're part of the other side. The truth is that health isn't a partisan topic, yet it's being presented as one. The argument shouldn't be, underprivileged communities have limited or no access to whole, nutrient-dense foods, so we shouldn't demonize ultra-processed foods. The argument should be, we need to make whole, nutrient-dense foods available to everyone. But these aren't even the main problem with ultra-processed food. The main problem is that ultra-processed food reflects the monetary interests of the companies that produce it. They produce it as cheaply as possible and formulate it to last as long as possible on the store shelf. If you think including additives like preservatives, fillers, coloring agents, stabilizers, and emulsifiers is for your health, you probably didn't make it to this part of the video. But if you did, thank you, and please remember to hit the like button and subscribe. But seriously, companies seeking profit above all else has other cultural side effects as well, like the side effect of losing our food culture in general. I've been talking a lot with one of my subscribers in the comments about the cost of food, access to food, and cultural implications of food. Specifically, we've been talking a lot about how important it is for us to relearn how to cook our own food, like bread. The dawn of the ultra-processed era followed the popularization of canned, frozen, and long shelf life food, coupled with the inventions of the refrigerator and the microwave. After these inventions, food culture around the world has changed dramatically. Where people would have normally passed down family recipes for foods along with the cooking techniques to make them, people now have effectively been deprived of this part of their culture with easy access to pre-made foods. And I've seen this happen in real time over the years in South Korea, where the processed and frozen food aisles at the grocery 10 years ago were a fraction of the size that they are today. And arguably, more people knew how to prepare their own meals back then as well. Now, how did the companies that started adding all of these ingredients to food get us to eat it up? No pun intended. Convenience. They know that the 9 to 5 restricts our ability to cook for ourselves, and stopping at a drive-thru on the way home for some quick calories is often the only option since we're so exhausted. With government subsidies, the cost of ultra-processed foods are kept artificially low. Like, have you ever thought about why a bag of Skittles is less money than a single apple? A bag of Skittles that takes a huge supply chain of ingredients being shipped to a factory, then combined and manufactured, then packaged and shipped across the country. Like, how is this product cheaper than a f***ing apple? It's strange to me that Robert Kennedy Jr.'s mention of ultra-processed foods would be met with retaliation from Time in the form of an article that's more or less pointless. We should be able to have conversations about health and what's making us sick and what we find is making us better, and it shouldn't be taboo to mention these things in general. But let's circle back around. Your dietary choices, your health choices, are not political. Your decision to eat whole food, or to only buy from local sources, or to raise chickens for eggs in your backyard, or to eat as much ultra-processed food as you want to, is not political. And I'm so tired of seeing this rhetoric used to divide people. In the end, we all want what's best for ourselves, our families, our friends, and our children, and that has nothing to do with politics. I don't think that Jessica Wilson means any harm. I just think that she's oddly arguing for something that's strongly linked to higher risks of chronic diseases. Don't get me wrong, ultra-processed food has a place. Military rations, emergency food supplies, and other applications. It is definitely a marvel of human engineering and a useful tool for a specific job. But is it, or should it be part of our everyday diet? The data looks like we're eating too much of it. And to deny that seems like it's potentially risking the lives of everyone we love. I know that I know a lot of people with chronic diseases, including myself. Do you? If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this. Remember that with these sorts of things, it's perfectly fine to be in the middle. Oh, and eating ultra-processed foods is not, and never will be, punk rock. Leave a comment below to continue the conversation. Take care.